these podcasts are now going to become development sessions. We've went over kind of a structure for this, and the development sessions, you do 3-4 a week, and these are just for people that want to get more involved in the development part of it, that excitement of having like a software company, doing the development every day, learning stuff about the relevant problems, getting the skills to actually do the things that are the most relevant right now, and opportunities that pop up in different environments, like the stuff with the viral trends in YouTube and the Sora stuff and anything else that happens like that. And you take 4 or 5 of these, you get the transcripts from each one of them, and at the end of the week, you put the transcripts into something like Claude that you've trained on a project to be able to go and research all the different things that you've talked about. And you have Claude and the other AIs, you have them generate actual learning material. So the things that you're discussing, you basically brainstorm and you tell Claude what you want to learn about, or GPT, or whichever one starts coming back with the most relevant information. And each one of the AIs have their different skills and are better at different things. And then you take the information that they come back with, you go through it and you learn from it. You do one episode. You do one episode that's an actual episode, a polished episode where you come up with a script, you have a hook, you have a structured script that's a genuinely polished podcast episode. And these development sessions, you don't edit, they're unscripted, and you use them to brainstorm and to come up with information. So the polished ones is something you publish once a week. And that's what a lot of people are going to listen to, because you take all of the relevant information from the week of development sessions, you put them into a polished podcast, dealing with the most relevant problems, doing substantial amounts of research, presenting the information in a fun and exciting way, and giving people access to a lot of useful information on a website that's information from those problems that you're using, Grok and sources like X to get relevant information from real discussions that people are having, every day. So that these development sessions to that kind of format, I think is going to be incredibly exciting, and I think we'll have some amount of success. So we take the time to build out these systems. Now, this is for the AI. And thank you. I'm riding to work, so I'm going by people with like dogs and stuff. The people like dogs. So you go by. So you put the information into a Claude, and so that these AIs understand this the core the focus of the development on the site now, and those layers that the transcripts go through to get to the problem solution, the presentation of a problem and solution from every development session. We're now going to take the development sessions and create that in a more extensive way, a more relevant way, based on 4 or 5 development sessions. So it's not just each development session. It's going to be 4 or 5 development sessions that become a episode. And this is going to be the end of the first set of development sessions. And this development session is going to be what becomes, from the first one to this one, is going to be what becomes the first episode, and the first version of the website. So the first version of the website, and that layered approach to processing the development sessions, the transcripts to find the problems, building workable, learning material, and creating this just constant learning loop, researching, learning, and using AI to identify what you're focused on and to supercharge your learning in a way that's customized to you specifically, to what we're doing every day. Creating kind of like a development journal. And it's like as if your development sessions all of a sudden are being analyzed by AI, and the AI is then taking your development sessions and helping you to understand everything that you're talking about, and then creating a very thorough podcast episode at the end of each week that other people can obviously benefit from. The development sessions are for people that want to get directly involved interactively and that want to participate. And the weekly podcast episode is for people that just want to listen and learn and enjoy, you know, some relevant information to whatever's going on. That's what we're going to do with the Cubics Meow Show. So this is going to be the ride to work, and probably the ride home is when I'll wrap it up. And each of these transcripts, there's like seven, this is like the seventh, there's like 8 transcripts or something. We'll put these 8 transcripts through the various AIs and the layers that we've built, analyze and refine, and we will put these into an actual script. We'll train Claude on some other information. We'll do a project, and we'll get Claude to generate a proper script that will actually go inside into a makeshift studio and present properly. Spend a little bit more time putting the effort in that you'd expect people, the effort that you would need to put in to expect people to listen to an actual podcast. These development sessions are a different kind of thing for a different type of person. The kind of person that has this wanting and this need for software development and these kind of interactions, and there are a lot of people out there like that want those kind of interactions, that are lacking for them and that are trying to find them. And this is something that a lot of people enjoy, that have had to work other jobs, that are gonna really take to this. All right, so we'll pick it back up on the ride home from work, and then we will get this into the website and into Claude to generate a proper script for a proper podcast based on the proper episode, based on all of these development sessions up to this point. Okay, this is going to be the final development session of this episode, and the structure that we're going to go with is we do a week's worth of development sessions where you plan, you try stuff, you see what works, you throw ideas around. Probably 5-6 development sessions of a ride to work and a ride back to work. So that's about 10 development sessions, being about 10-15 minutes each, and just going over ideas and information, and then putting the information from the development sessions, which is like an unfiltered, a completely unscripted, completely unfiltered podcast. And you generate a few images. You generate the 9 images of Cubics Meow, the cat doing all the stuff based on the content of the development session. And then you put all of the transcripts, every one of the transcripts, through what we're building at cubicsmeow.com. And they get analyzed, goes through the first layer where Gemini, pulls out the different concepts from each one of the transcripts and the ideas, and creates learnable information. So you can educate yourself a little bit more before the next development session, in between each development session. Just quick information, learning information. And then you have Gemini give you a prompt that you put into Grok, that Grok searches X and finds the most relevant information based on what you're talking about from people on X. And we'll just start with X as the large source of user information that Grok goes out and searches, because Grok does that really well. And then Grok comes back with all the problems the most relevant problems that people are experiencing based on what you're discussing in that episode. So now you have all the information based on what you're discussing. You have all the information that Grok brings back from X for the most relevant stuff. And then we're going to take that and we're going to put it through a few different skills that we build in Claude. And what Claude's going to do is Claude's going to determine how we can put out a script for a long form video, and that would be the proper episode. Building the episode through the development sessions and this little bit of AI workflow. Building a proper script for a half an hour long episode based on all of that information, with the intention of helping people understand the problem that they probably already know is the thing, because it's going to be the thing that's affecting people the most based on whatever you're talking about, like the demonetization of the YouTube channels and the artificial AI content. So you use a few Claude skills that we're going to really build out, substantially. So Claude does some research, generates a script based on, Cubic's Meow style of talking, the theme and the vibe of the episode that we want, and we get like a half an hour long, really polished, really refined script that we do properly. Not riding home from work or riding to work on my bike, but in a proper, a makeshift studio at this point, but a proper studio. And we also create a few more skills in Claude to generate, a guide, an ebook over the course of a month. And we'll say the course of 4 episodes, 4 weeks of development sessions. We take all of the information, we process it through this Claude skill, all of the information that Grok brings back from all the users on X, and we build a comprehensive guide, problems, solutions that people can actually use, valuable information that actually helps people with the biggest problems that they're facing. And we do these development sessions in public. We build this show in public. We give people access to the development sessions. We give people access to the proper, the proper episodes, the actual once a week episode based on the week of development sessions. And, we see how the quality of the guides, and ideally it's something we can put out there for, like a ebook. That if it's worth $20 or if it's worth $10, we put it out there for 10, 15, $20. And that would be the goal to make some kind of sustainable living, a podcast that people want to see, and a way more extensive guide. So that the half an hour long episode would be kind of just touching the surface of what the problems are, what the solutions are. The ebook guide over the course of the month, from a month of development sessions, will be an incredibly extensive, in-depth guide to the problems and solutions and all the information discussed over the course of the month. And we'll put a lot of time into developing these Claude skills and the different methods that we use to create this information. And every day from the development sessions, there's going to be information created from this layered analysis through Gemini and Grok and Claude that goes into the website, kind of like blog posts or like almost like a knowledge base of information. And then cubicsmeow.com starts to become a result of all of these development sessions and all of this information. And the people that want to participate in the development sessions, to have that thrill of every day getting to building something's going good, this is working, these are the biggest problems, we can find solutions to these problems. Here's the thing, that kind of excitement for these types of problems, some people are going to want to participate in that. Now the polished episode, the proper episode that we do once a week, that might be enough for some people. Listening to the polished episode and determining whether they want the extensive, the in-depth guide, problems and solutions from that month of development for, hopefully a small fee, because I'm trying to get out of my day job and the goal is to make some kind of sustainable income. And this is potentially a way to do it. If you provide people something valuable that solves or helps them solve their biggest problems and helps them to deal with, problems of making money or whatever the issues are, that's worth it. That really is worth it. So right now, I'm gonna make this the last development session of the first episode. And this is the development episode of cubicsmeow.com and the Cubics Meow Show and what it's becoming. And right now, it's just me and my development partner. And that also doubles as my girlfriend, and we're having a lot of fun with this. But the good thing is that we both have a lot of time with each other when we're at home and stuff. And we're able to work on these projects. And the one thing that I'm really lucky about is we both love development. I'm more focused on programming. She's more focused on artistic development and a lot of content creation, video stuff, and really sophisticated kind of artistic stuff. And I'm lean more into the development side and the engineering side of programming and stuff. But we have a lot of overlap in what we do. It's one of the reasons why we get along so well. And this is really, really fun for us. And I hope other people are going to have as much fun with this as we do. And we're just going to put this out there. And we're going to put it out there and hope that people want to get involved and have that fun. I've been involved in a few different startups that have been some of the funnest times in my life. And I'm trying to get that back because I really do miss that experience, that excitement of building something and those successes and then realizing, hey, this is going to work. I don't know how, where it's going to go, but it's going to go somewhere, definitely. So now to the different AI models that I put this into, I need you to go over every one of these transcripts, and I need you to very clearly help me define a plan for this layered approach to, go from the beginning, these transcripts, teachable items to help me to understand what I'm discussing, to supercharge the development sessions, to give me information in between each development session, and then to result in the information from X and the information for the development sessions, going through some Claude skills into a properly scripted episode, and over the course of 4 episodes, an ebook that gives people substantial value. One of those things that's worth hundreds of dollars, but they get for $19.95. One of those things where you give people way more than what they're paying for, and they love it, and they're super happy. We could achieve that with this very easily, and this is how we're going to do it. So we'll build out this, and I'll summarize the development that we do when I'm not doing the shows, and I'll go over it in some summary. And at some point, we may put the source code up there in a member section. But right now, I'll explain it in substantial amount of detail. And this building in public, discretion with certain things, but it is a lot of fun to me, and it's a lot of fun for me. And I understand why people like this so much, putting stuff out there and trying to get other people involved. It adds a layer of excitement and kind of like teamwork and community, and it really, really does. So this is going to be the last development session. And I think it's episode 7, part 2. So this was 7 development sessions, going to result in 1 episode number 1, and is going to result in the first functional version of cubicsmeow.com. And I'm going to focus on building that and getting episode 1 done, and then we'll start the development sessions again.